It's Travis Head.
Hey, someone sent me Buzz Rossfield's number. Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Day Sports. My name is Chris, and we are here for the shows and goes, not the X's and O's. Welcome to 2026, first episode of the year. It is great to be back. Nice to have a little bit of a break. In a bit of a weird, sad sporting time at the moment. We're kind of into the void, but we'll get into that. We'll get into a little bit of the Zac Lomax stuff, the Bears signings, Reece Walsh being shredded out of these gills, a little bit of cricket chat as well. So skip forward to whatever part you want to get around. I'll timestamp it all. If you're new here, thank you very much for joining. If you're not, make sure you are hitting that thumbs up, that Jake Trebojevic button on the videos. Hit the subscribe button, goes a long way to support the channel. Support Day Sports. Go follow on all the socials and all the stuff that I either have or haven't already said. But yeah, first episode of 2026, you'll notice probably three different things if you have been here before. One, I'm all by myself. So Tom, he's pretty much stepping away from Day Sports at this stage, or at least probably forever, I'd say at this point. Everything's all sweet there. We're literally brothers. Can't really get rid of him even if I tried, but pretty much he's got his own business sort of plans, I suppose, this year that he wants to focus on, understandably. He's also building a house, and he's a chippy, so he's going to be swinging that hammer extra hard to try to get that done. So best of luck to you. Appreciate all the hard work last year, bro. So yeah, get used to hearing my voice for a little bit. It's probably going to be a solo podcast for the foreseeable future until maybe somebody else comes along. The right person, right chemistry, right place, right timing, all that sort of jazz. So we'll see what happens there. Now, my plan is hopefully, if I can get people on board, I want to do probably like 1 or 2 episodes solo and then get somebody in, collaborate, or even maybe every second week, depending if I can tee up people and all that. Just kind of keep things fresh, and it's not just me talking to myself, but we'll see how that all goes. 2, setup looks a little bit different, but I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep this up because setting up was an absolute pain. But yeah, did I say 2 or 3 things? I don't know. Beats me. But that's pretty much where we're at this stage. So like I said, we're in a little bit of a void of sport. And I like to call the void the period between the Ashes and the start of the rugby league season. So we're really not too far away. It is really coming up quickly. I'm scarred a little bit that the cricket is over. We've only got Big Bash now. But, footy's on the horizon, which is what I like to see. The rumours are coming out. The signings are coming out. All sorts of stuff starting to go on. But it is in that weird lull period where the Russian table tennis just isn't tying me over at this stage. I need a little bit of rugby league action. Pre-season trials, I suppose they start of February, around there. We've also got the World Cup Challenge as well. So I think the Broncos play, I'd like to say the 25th, but don't quote me on that. I'm just going off the top of my head there. It could be anywhere, pretty much around there. But yeah, really weird timing.
Not now!
But the real hot news, the talk of the town outside of Reece Walsh's AI abs at this stage is what's doing with Zac Lomax. I think a lot of people are trying to figure that out. Obviously, I think it's going to be a talking point for the foreseeable future until we kind of get a definitive answer on what's going on. But old Zac Lomax, he's done more backflips than probably anyone else at this point. He's in a contract, out of contract. I want to get a union. I want to do this, allegedly, mind you. And he's kind of left high and dry in the void himself at this stage, where he's not signed anything. He doesn't have much doing for 2026. The R360 doesn't look like it's going ahead until way later, if at all, at this point. At least Paps kind of stood on business. He was like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm proper done. And now it looks like Paps' previous team, the old Melbourne Storm, look like they're the ones that want to put up their hand and go, yes, Lomax, we'll take a little bit of that. Thank you, centre wing. It doesn't matter. We want a bit of that Lomax. New South Wales Australian representative action. But he was meant to be with Parramatta for the next, 3-4 years or something like that. They pretty much went, okay, cool. You don't want to play here, but you want to go get big bucks playing R360? All right, we'll let you go, but you need to go off and do that. And you're released, at least from everything I've looked into it, you're released under the assumption that you're not going to be playing for another rugby league team. R360 is obviously, it's a Fugazi, it's a Woozy, it's fairy dust, not fucking real. And that's dawned upon him, or it's dawned upon his management, or whatever the situation is there. And all of a sudden, Zachy goes, you got any of that rugby league football going on for me? And the Eels are like, We'll be taking to the court. Thank you very much. And it seems that that's basically, or I suppose might be the other way around with Lomax getting, legals involved. I think, and don't quote me on it, might have been the ones that were involved with Israel Folau and, different things that were going on with him. But yeah, apparently there's going to be a little bit of a battle between him and the Eels. And I kind of fall two ways with it there, where the Eels, they're in a bit of a tricky spot, especially when you've got a team like Melbourne chasing them. It seems like they're really gunning for them. Not to mention they play in round 1 together, so that would be an absolute fuck you to the Eels if they manage to sign Zac Lomax. It's a bit of a weird one there as well. I don't know where he'd really fit in. Like, obviously, he's a gun winger, good player, fullback. I don't think so. You got Sua Falongo there on the, trying to lock down that spot. But at the same time, Melbourne Storm are pretty much clearing house and getting rid of like all their fringies. Really good players, but I suppose guys that weren't necessarily breaking into the first team. But yeah, if you're the Eels, you're kind of like, what do you do? Do you, force him if he wants to come back to the NRL to play for the Eels? Do you just lock him out, like try to stop him from playing in general? Like, nah, you're not coming back. We don't even want you. That's that. Like, you agreed on this and this is how it's happened. Do you swap somebody from the Melbourne Storm, like a like-for-like player? But it's just like, well, who are you going to get? That's your Zac Lomax, your representative Australian footballer type of thing. I suppose, you might be able to look at your Xavier Coates. I think Jack Howarth has been tossed around a little bit. I don't know if that's probably the right way to go about it. And no offense to Howarth, he's a gun, but Zac Lomax level, I'm not too sure. Or a few of the Eels, and I feel like a lot of fans would probably fall into this camp as well, would just be like, you know what, if you don't want to play here, fuck off. You can go somewhere else. You know what, we'll let you out of your contract. Go play for whoever, because if you don't want to play here, then see you later. It could very well fall into that category as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. It's going to be crazy if he signs for the Melbourne Storm, though. Like, I don't know if it's going to happen. It could end up being an absolute shit show on the courts or something. And the thing is as well, like, if you're the Eels, do you want to go through all that head noise and drama of going through the court system and that? So I don't know. It'll be very interesting. You could see old Zac Lomax there in the purple colours come the start of 2026 season. And who knows, he might be gone halfway through it when a better offer comes up. Like, I don't know. And I feel like it's a weird one for the Melbourne Storm. Like, they seem to run such a tight ship. You've heard over and over, obviously, like, bellyache, best in the business. But their administration, the way they run their clubs and all that is, like, meant to be top tier. So taking a punt on a very good player with a little bit of a doesn't like to stick to the dotted line sort of stuff. Like, I don't know, is he really a club man? Is that a guy you want there? Like, people are floating around, almost him being a bit of a mercenary at this time. So Zac, no contract Lomax seems to be the way. So, whoever's going to pay him the biggest coin, bada bing, bada bing.
Look now!
But one thing that has come out of the Broncos camp is Reece Walsh being shredded as fuck on his Instagram. Old Reece has put up a couple of photos there, just being jacked to the gills. So whatever toilet water he's been having or whatever put he's been eating in the off season is working an absolute treat. Masashi, you got your man juiced up something else. And I think all that might have potentially spurred on from stories or people pointing out, Reece, he's looking a little bit underdone coming into the preseason, or he's looking a bit unfit. And I think he's just gone, yeah, cool, fuck you, I'm actually fucking shredded. So yeah, and that's caused a little bit of a storm online, I'd say. So Reece Walsh, honestly though, like anything he does, journos are writing articles about it, which is ironic because I'm also sitting here speaking about it. But he prints money for these people, bums in seats, prints money, like anything he does, and I love that for him that he actually controls that narrative. Like, something comes out, he can just rubbish it and jump on his social media because he's like 10,000 times bigger than anyone anyway. And in a good way, I think he uses it in a great way. But especially in these sort of situations, someone saying, oh yeah, Reece is a little bit underdone, looking a little like too much Christmas pud, a little bit extra pud, and he just jumps on social media and uploads absolutely shredded fucking photos of himself, which I love. He's discovered AI. It's like caveman discovering fire, and he's been pumping people through there, which I love. And you got the captain himself, Reno, which again, Reece Walsh, thanks to his AI magic, has put up a photo of him looking a little bit underdone. Those calf injuries must be really getting to Reno, because he around than he is probably tall at this stage. But it's all good and fun. But yeah, Reno might be battling the scales, and I think whatever the Australian version of USADA might be Reece's challenge heading into this season, because boy is jacked. But I love it. It's so funny. The articles are hilarious. Seems like he got a bit of hate for it. And it's just like, it's so clearly a dude taking the piss, and I can't wait to see what else he's gonna smash out this year. No doubt, like the Broncos do one little thing out of line, or particularly Reece like drops the ball, does anything, it's gonna be toilet water. He's full of himself on social media, but I love it. He's just a bit of a troll. Doesn't take himself obviously too seriously. Like I'm speaking this like I fucking know the bloke, but yeah, bloke's shredded, and that's just what I want from my Broncos players, really. And speaking of their training, like they've got the World Cup challenge going on. They've apparently already done an army camp, so they've got that well and truly out of the way. The journos have radio silence this year on the vomit buckets, this, that, and everything else, because guess what? Madge went on to do the fucking thing in 2025. We're going back to back, by the way. I'm loving what I'm seeing from the boys and the hot new kits, the hot new bods, everything going on. They've even got a little bit of touch grass moments going on, really reconnecting with the common man and the folk out there at Toowoomba, I think this week or next or whatever. They're at like Gatton, Toowoomba way in the fog, trying to replicate that England weather. Is really beautiful stuff from the boys, but yeah, real grassroots. I do like to see it. But what I want to see is foot on throat stuff from the Broncos this year. Like expectations, I suppose, is going to be right up here for all of them. Madge is dead set on not having a bloody premiership hangover, and honestly, I really can't see them being like that. Like they got some great new talent coming in. Reece again, shredded out of his soul. So yeah, if he's on fire, they're going to be on fire, and I think Madge is going to have the whips cracking and get them ready to fuck coming into 2026 season.
Look now!
The old Perth Bears, they're making some moves. They're signing a couple players. So they added a couple the other day. They had Tyron Wishart, which I think is massive. Nicky Meaney, just a kind of silent achiever. I like it. And the name's escaping me. The Sharks winger centre fella as well, who's apparently quite good. But they're starting to get their team together. But I'm a little bit concerned for the Bears. Yes, they are signing some really good players, but you know there's no main attraction there. There's no real star in that team. Yes, they've got some guys that might work out, but I'm also a little bit worried. Again, surprise, surprise. I'm not a fucking NRL coach, but I'm a little bit concerned about the makeup that's happening there, particularly with Big Mel, who hasn't really coached anything outside of State of Origin. So, and you know, if I'm wrong on that, absolutely let me know. But yeah, I feel like that's very different. Again, not an NRL coach, but I feel like that's very different things when you've got the best Queensland teams potentially ever walking around, where you just got a kind of little niggles, a little bit of motivational speech, this and that, compared to throwing together a team of guys who have never played together before, aren't these ridiculous generational talents, or at least not yet, and trying to get them up to scratch for the NRL when a lot of them probably aren't often or all the time starting in their own teams. And you got half the bloody team that's made up of Super League players. That's a real concern. It's not often that a Super League player comes here and absolutely kills it in the NRL. It's really more of a Canberra Raiders thing as well. So they've kind of stolen Ricky's thunder. They've kind of stolen Ricky's thunder and potentially talent in snatching a few of these Super League players. He'd be there absolutely stewing in Canberra. They're fucking taking my Super League Englishmen. So yeah, pouring out for Ricky if he's missing out on those players, those cold Englishmen. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not overly convinced, and I cannot see any massive marquee player there. Like, you know what, they're going to sign Zac Lomax and Ryan Pappenhausen? Like, I don't think so. Papsen's all but gone, and obviously we spoke about Lomax at this point. I'm trying to think who else is coming off contract or who they might be able to, you know, lure over there, but there's really not anyone that I can think of. Like, unless, I don't know, your Reno or someone like that plays another season at the Brisbane Broncos and goes over there for the big coin as the captain and the halfback. But even then, they got Sexy Sexton, they got Tyron Wishart there already. So I'm not really sure. I don't know what you're going to do there. They got Curran as well, which is a good player, but yeah, it's a little bit etched. So I suppose, time will tell with the Bears. I'd like it a whole lot better if they actually had a jersey instead of announcing all their signings and just like plain black shirts. They genuinely, and I've said it before, they look like they're just out of a Musashi ad. If you put that up on the back of a bus, I would be mistaken. It'd be like, oh, that's a Musashi ad. They're athletes. That's kind of the look, the same kind of color scheme. Like, that's how I'd pretty much look at it. yeah, so we'll see. I might eat my words. They might absolutely smash it, but I just don't think they've got the same thing as the Dolphins like when they came in a couple of years ago. Like you've already got this like ridiculously established club. You've got a legend of Melbourne Inga, sure, but it ain't Wayne Bennett, like absolute wily old coyote, knows his way around a rugby league field, and people want to go play for him. And I don't know outside of Origin if that's really been tested for Melbourne Inga, if people are signing up going, fuck yeah, I really want to be under Mel. Like, I'm sure it'd be amazing, don't get me wrong, but it ain't Wayne, it ain't Craig, it ain't that kind of same thing. And I just don't know if they got that junior, those guys coming through that are really going to like blow it out of the water that you're seeing starting to come through now for your Dolphins, where you're like, oh, holy fuck, these are the next generation of players. Your Max Plath, your Isaiah Katoa, a few of those other young forwards that are coming through. So, we obviously as well have come to the end of the Ashes, 4-1 fuck off, the end of Travball's summer, the end of Travis Head's summer has pretty much come to the end. And I feel like it's gone way too fast. I feel like particularly the games between, that are played, I suppose, in the lead up to Christmas, and obviously your Boxing Day test just went way shorter or just didn't have the same anticipation or the same stakes I feel like it had the year prior when we were playing India. Like, to be completely honest, and such a massive thing, like, yes, do I love my test cricket? Fucking absolutely. But when you're getting 2-day Boxing Day test matches, which is meant to be the pinnacle, if you ask me, of test match cricket in Australia, where nothing's on, Christmas is over, New Year's is on the horizon, you just got days ahead of you, fuck all doing, to get down sideways, punish some golds or whatever beer of your choice, whatever liquid of your choice, and just sit there and indulge in your test match rugby league cricket. And I wasn't able to do that, so I felt very robbed of it. We obviously had the SCG test, which managed to go 5 days with a rain delay in there to sprinkle it in there. 4-1, still a great result, don't get me wrong. Us losing that one did hurt a little bit. A draw, we could have swallowed a draw, but letting them win for the first time in 15 odd years, or around about 15 years, that kind of sucks. You want them to fuck off without having a single win. We didn't quite manage to get there. Mitchy Starkey picks up player of the series, well deserved. I think a lot of people thought Travis Head or Alex Carey were in the discussion. I probably would have gone Travis Head. Just what he was able to achieve with the bat was ridiculous, but at the same time, what Starkey managed to do, like really put his best foot forward, particularly in those first probably 2.5, 3 tests, wiping England out. Like, he was their sleep paralysis demon, taking people ducks left, right and centre. Like, if we didn't have him with like the majority of our best bowlers missing, there's no way, or at least very unlikely, I think, that we would have won this series the way that we did. Like, yes, we had an absolute gun in the slug laying around who might have been able to come and do the same thing. I'm not too sure, but Starkey's just like 35 and fucking, like, he is humming at the moment. It doesn't look like he's going to stop. I can see him being there in 2027, pen in the body, but he's not getting injured. He got through the whole series, not too many dramas, maybe a little niggle here and there, but congrats to him, absolutely killed it. And his missus, Alyssa Healy's pulled, well, I was about to say, taken the gloves off essentially, decided she's announced her retirement, which even the PM, big old Elbow, was giving speeches about. The entire cricket community puts one together for Alyssa because Mrs. Stark is an absolute gun and has achieved so much, particularly for the women's game, and I'm very keen to see what she does, podcast, media, sporting, whatever was moving forward. But yeah, very much congrats. Yeah, the summer of Travis Head, as if the man couldn't become more of a god in Australia, he's somehow just taken it to the next level every single time. All the compilation videos, I've put out a million myself, the funny photos, the drinking beer, the funny remarks, and then he just goes out and tonks like 100 off 60 odd balls and just does stupid shit like that. You're like, yes, Trav, hook it up to me, I fucking need more. So I even had his wine the other day, the SCG Rosé. I wish I had the bottle laying around because that was an absolute brilliant drop. Travi just doesn't miss. And you know what? He finishes up at the SCG, probably doesn't sleep, drinks 5,000 beers, and then the next day, what does he do? He goes down to, I think, a golf tournament or golf setup down in Adelaide and hits a fucking Tiger Woods like putt, no worries at all, with everyone around. Like, it's up and up for Travis Head. Like, that man needs to be the PM, honestly. I need to get some Travis Head merch or something going on, or a big poster or something, because, that is Australia's guy. Random little thing that I just wanted to say about that SCG test. There was a moment there, I forgot what day it was. Carey nearly got wiped out by a ball. It just like dropped last second. He's missed it and it hit the helmet behind him and ended up picking up 5 runs. Now, I cannot remember that ever happening in professional test match cricket, at least like for the Aussies that I can know. Like, quote me if I'm wrong. I cannot remember that happening at all. You know, growing up playing cricket, it was always that thing, oh yeah, you get 5 runs if you hit the helmet of it. I've never seen it happen, especially not in an Australian game. So let me know if that's happened anytime recently, because yeah, that happened. I'm like, oh geez, like obviously it is a rule, but fuck, it does not happen at all. Rare as hen's teeth. So yeah, Alex Carey nearly got wiped out and hit the helmet. So 5 runs was pretty interesting. And of course, just entrenched in the summer of cricket, I think it's like I honestly think Skull might be like Mariah Carey or Michael Bublé. When Christmas time rolls around, you defrost them and take it out. That's Skull with the summer of cricket. I think Fox Cricket keeps him somewhere, or KO keeps him somewhere on ice, and then they just defrost him, ready to go for the summer of cricket, prolong him a little bit further, because God, does he get into his work. Like, I rarely listen to Channel 7 these days. It's just so much easier for me with KO and Fox Cricket and whatever. So I love the lineup on there, but Skull's always a highlight. He can have some misses for sure, but I loved at the end of the series, he did his best combined 11, and up on screen, of course, Skull just has the Australian team listed out. He's like, look, it is what it is. They were the best player. And he gets into his dad jokes and he starts going on. He's just like, I don't do combinations. I don't do, any sort of collaborations. And he starts listing them off, AFL teams. He starts looking at Balmain and the Wests for the Tigers and having a good laugh. And then he nearly gets himself cancelled, dropping in, USA and Venezuela. And he thinks it's the funniest thing of all time. And the other presenters are fucking like DEFCON 1. They're like, whoa, this is too fresh. Skull. He's just all over it. But yeah, Skull never changed. Too good. The laugh, that is just hotter than anything else. So yeah, it's probably second favourite behind Travis Head, I feel like, for the Australian cricket in public. But yeah, do not change Skull. That's pretty much it for this week. Again, it's probably going to be a slow couple of weeks leading into the footy season. More and more content is going to be on the way. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, all that sort of jazz. But yeah, pretty much that's it. Have a good one. Catch you guys next week.